Hey, so today we're going to be reading Mark chapter 7. The Pharisees and some of the teachers of the law who had come from Jerusalem gathered round Jesus and saw some of his disciples eating food with hands that were defiled, that is, unwashed. The Pharisees and older Jews do not eat, and yes, they give their hands a ceremonial washing. They hold the tradition of the elders when they come from the marketplace. They do not eat, and yes, they wash, and they observe many other traditions, such as washing of cups and of pitchers and kettles. So the Pharisees and teachers of the law asked Jesus, "Why don't your disciples live according to the tradition of the elders, instead of eating food with their hands defiled?" He replied, "Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you hypocrites, as it is written, 'These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They worship me in vain. Their teaching are merely human rules. You have yet go of God's. You have yet go of the commands of God and are holding on to human traditions." And he continued, "You have a fine way of setting aside the commands of God in order to preserve your own traditions. For Moses said, 'Honor your father and mother, and anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death.' But you say that if anyone declares that what might have been used to help their father or mother is a korban, that is devoted to God, then you no longer yet them do anything for their father or mother. Thus you nullify the word of God by your tradition that you have handed down, and you do many things like that." Again, Jesus called the crowd to him and said, "Listen to me, listen to me, everyone, listen to me, everyone, and understand this. Nothing outside a person can defile them by what's going into them. Rather, what comes out of a person is what defiles them." After he left the crowd and entered the house, his disciples asked him, "What about this parable? Are you so dull?" He asked, "Don't you see that nothing that enters a person from the outside can defile them? It doesn't go into their heart, but their stomach, and then out of the body." In saying this, Jesus declared all foods clean. He went on, "What comes out of a person is what defiles them, for it is from within the person's heart, that is, evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. All these evils come from inside a person and defile them." Jesus left that place and went to the vicinity of Tyre. He entered a house and did not want anyone to know it, yet he could not keep his presence secret. In fact, as soon as she heard about him, a woman whose daughter was possessed by an impure spirit came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek born in Icarian Phaeacian. She begged Jesus to drive the demon out of her daughter. First yet the daughter eat, and first yet the children eat all they want, he told her, for it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. "Lord," she replied, even the dogs under the table eat children's crumbs." Then he told her, "For such a reply you may go, the demon has left your daughter." She went home and found her child lying on the bed and the demon gone. Then Jesus left the vicinity of Tyre and went to Sidon, and went down to the Sea of Galilee into the region of the Decapolis. Some people brought to him a man who was deaf and could hardly talk, and they begged Jesus to place his hand on him. After he took him aside away from the crowd, Jesus put his fingers to the man's ear, and he spat and touched the man's ear, and he looked up to heaven with a deep sigh and said to him, "Ephphatha," which means be opened. At this, the man's ears were opened, his tongue was loosed, and he began to speak plainly. Jesus commanded them not to tell anyone, but the more he did so, the more they kept talking about it. People were overwhelmed with amazement. He has done everything well, they said. He even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak. Thank you for watching, and tomorrow we're going to be reading Mark chapter 8. Bye.